There's probably no entity in the government that is more of an entrenched power center of unelected bureaucrats with less accountability, less oversight than USAID. They funnel money to their cronies all over the world through a swampy network of NGOs and cutouts, including potentially some very troubling elements of focusing on things like regime change and destabilizing foreign countries.
Elon Musk, you didn't create USAID. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create USAID, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
They call it foreign aid. They say it's about humanitarian work, about helping struggling nations, about spreading democracy. But what if it's all a front? What if USAID is not just an aid agency, but a political weapon? And what if Donald Trump and Elon Musk are now hell-bent on shutting it down because they know exactly what's hiding behind its doors? For decades, USAID has operated under the banner of humanitarian assistance. It was established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy as a tool in the Cold War to counter Soviet influence. But the Cold War ended in 1991. So why does USAID still exist? Supporters argue that it's needed to counter China and Russia's growing influence. But critics, including Trump and Musk, say that it's an unaccountable, bloated agency used to push a hidden political agenda.
USAID is one of the most disturbing organizations in the entire federal government. It may rank number one, in fact. USAID is under the cloak of being a humanitarian aid organization designed to advance U.S. foreign policy, is assigned the dirtiest tasks that the State Department can't get caught doing, and that used to be done directly by the CIA. But USAID is able to act as essentially a covert operations division in the way that the CIA used to.
And here's the real question. How much of USAID's work is actually about helping people? And how much is about orchestrating regime changes, color revolutions, and political propaganda in the name of democracy? Trump's second administration wasted no time. On day one, a 90-day freeze on foreign aid was imposed. 4 days later, USAID went into lockdown. Senior officials put on leave. Thousands of contractors laid off. Billions of dollars in aid frozen. And the agency's website? Gone. Even its official X, formerly Twitter account, has been wiped.
We have depended on USAID for over 60 years, and the moment the owners of the money say, let's take a 90-day pause that I audit where my money is going, suddenly the whole country goes into a frenzy. And this should be a moment of reflection for Uganda and the African continent in general. We have been asking for a very long time to be liberated from colonialism, neo-colonialism, and now that the opportunity presents itself, for some reason, we are complaining. Because let's get something straight. Often the money given to us in foreign aid is lost to corruption, misuse, depleted and overrated salaries to particular individuals, or sometimes we lose billions of money that are unaccounted for. So it only makes sense that the donor is asking for an edit, and if that means pausing the amount of money coming in, they should.
But why the urgency? The Trump administration, with Musk at the helm of the Department of Government Efficiency, believes USAID has become a corrupt institution, funding covert operations under the guise of development projects. Musk even went as far as calling USAID a criminal organization. For years, reports have surfaced linking USAID to political meddling worldwide. Accusations of backing coups in Latin America, engineering uprisings in Eastern Europe, and even fueling unrest in Africa. And let's not forget how USAID funds have been funneled into controversial programs, like supporting militant groups under the guise of democracy-building efforts. Take a look at Venezuela, where USAID allegedly funneled funds to opposition groups, or Ukraine, where billions have been sent, but much of it remains unaccounted for, or the Middle East, where USAID funding has repeatedly been linked to the organizations with ties to extremists.
The worst scandals in American statecraft have been USAID, from funding the Wuhan lab to growing heroin in Afghanistan and irrigating the poppy fields, to setting up fake Twitter in Cuba with an explicit USAID document saying that the plan is to have algorithms favoring sports news and hurricane updates, and then once we have enough people, switch to get them to hate their government and topple their government and take to the streets in smart riots, to them even using HIV prevention clinics as undercover for USAID workers doing intelligence work to get people to overthrow their government. Well, how many other public health facilities operated by USAID are doing the same thing in Africa, in South America, in Eastern Europe, in Central Asia?
Now, Trump and Musk say enough is enough. But is dismantling USAID even possible? Legally, Trump can't just erase USAID with a stroke of a pen. Congress holds the purse strings. But that didn't stop him in his first term when he used budget freezes and executive orders to quietly gut foreign aid programs. And he's doing it again. Only this time, it's bigger, bolder, and aimed at dismantling an entire institution. Republicans who have long argued that foreign aid is wasteful and used to promote a liberal agenda are rallying behind him. Even moderates like Marco Rubio, who previously supported foreign aid as a national security tool, now say it needs a full reassessment.
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest. But if you go to mission after mission and embassy after embassy around the world, you will often find that in many cases, USAID is involved in programs that run counter to what we're trying to do in our national strategy with that country or with that region. That cannot continue. USAID is not an independent, non-governmental entity. It is an entity that spends taxpayer dollars, and it needs to spend it, as the statute says, in alignment with the policy directives that they get from the Secretary of State, the National Security Council, and the President. And it's been 20 or 30 years where people have tried to reform it, and it refuses to reform. It refuses to cooperate. When we were in Congress, we couldn't even get answers to basic questions about programs. That will not continue. That's not going to continue.
Meanwhile, Democrats are calling this an unprecedented assault on America's global leadership. So here's the final question. Is USAID really an indispensable tool of American diplomacy, or a rogue agency meddling in foreign affairs? Is Trump tearing it down to make America safer? Or is he just settling political scores? And what does Musk stand to gain by leading this charge? One thing is certain, the battle over USAID is far from over. The cuts, the freezes, the terminations, this is just the beginning. And the world is watching. Because if USAID really is what its critics claim, then shutting it down isn't just a political move. It's a reckoning. Stay tuned. The truth is only just unraveling.